Okay, in this video, we're going to be looking at how to get a 4 on the argument section of your paper. Remember, you do have to meet the criteria to get a 3 before you can get a 4. So just make sure that your claim is clearly taking a position. All of your elaborations are further explaining how the evidence in your essay is relating to your claim, and make sure that your essay has a rebuttal that explains the other side's opinion. So just double check that you have all of those things in your essay, and if you don't, you're going to want to go back and fix those things. So the 4 on this essay for argument is that you use rhetorical strategies to make and support arguments. So I'm going to explain what rhetorical strategies are. The ones that we're asking you to use in this essay are logos, pathos, and ethos. So those are Greek words, and they mean logic, emotions, and credibility. So if you are using logos, you're really using logic, reason, and proof. You're going to see lots of studies, statistics in this one. You might compare two things, use analogies or metaphors. In pathos, this is where you're really appealing to someone's emotions. You're trying to use your emotions, use someone's emotions to help get them agree with you. You might tell stories, use inspirational quotes, or use really descriptive language. If you're really good at creative writing, pathos might be a really good one for you to try out. And then ethos is where you use credibility or trust. So you use maybe sources that are really trustworthy, and you talk about why they are trustworthy. You'd be really confident in your delivery. And like I said, you're using those really credible sources. So I'm going to start off with logos. So when you are using logos, you want to include facts and statistics, which is a lot more convincing. So if you say like 80% of students have committed some form of plagiarism, that's a lot more convincing than saying lots of students have plagiarized. So see if there's anywhere that you can put a statistic in your essay rather than just being vague. The next one is, are you walking someone through maybe how logical your argument is? Are you showing somebody how one idea connects to another? Here's the example. English students have been able to raise their overall grade by meeting with peer tutors. So it's safe to assume that math students could also benefit from frequent tutoring sessions. So in this example, they're really making that connection between English students and math students. They're just using elaborations, just like we've learned in SREEs. So go see if there's anywhere in your essay you could maybe add a really logical elaboration to help make your point stronger. So here's some examples of logos. The data is perfectly clear. This investment has consistently turned a profit year over year, even in spite of market declines in other areas. Private demand for the product has tapered off for the past 3 years, and this sales figures are at an all-time low. It's time to research other options. Research compiled by analysts from NASA as well as other organizations from 5 other nations with space programs suggests that a moon colony is viable with international support. So all of those are just really logical. They're using facts, data, logic to support their ideas. So if you are a really logical person, this might be a great way for you to help make your argument more convincing. Okay, the next one is pathos. So like I said, if you're really good at creative writing, this might be a good one for you. This is where you could do things like use individuals, like someone's story, to put a face on a problem. So you could talk about somebody losing their house in the 2008 recession, and that might be more effective than just saying like 1 million people lost their homes in the recession. Whereas if you focus on one person and talk about how that one person lost their home, it might be a powerful story because it will stir up people's emotions. And you could also use charged language or words that carry strong connotations. So connotations are words with a strong meaning. So like if a writer describes a gun as a sleek silver piece of sophisticated weaponry, it's different than describing a gun as a cold hunk of metal, dark and barbaric and ready to kill. So that's two different descriptions of guns. So you can see that just by changing your word choice, you can really change the way that people think about something. All right, so here's some examples of pathos, appealing to people's emotions. There's no price that can be placed on peace of mind. Our advanced security systems will protect the well-being of your family so that you can sleep soundly at night. You'll make the right decision because you have something that not many people do. You have heart. Better men than us have fought and died to preserve this great nation. Now is our turn to return the favor. For God and country, gentlemen. So you can see all of these are really aimed at stirring up emotions in people and trying to get them to do something. So if you're really good at creative writing or descriptive language, you might want to go through your essay and find some places where you could insert pathos. Okay, the last one is ethos. So when you're using ethos, you are talking about why someone should listen to authority. So you're maybe talking about what is someone's credentials? Are they an expert? Maybe they've written essays before. Did they go to college? Why should you listen to that person? Maybe you are using reputable sources. You have really good sources from those people who are really have really good credentials. They're experts in their field. You guys are probably going to be using those reputable sources like doctors maybe or professors. Those would be really good ones to appeal to for ethos. And then, are they a fair minded person who has considered all sides of the issue? When you're appealing to ethos, you don't want to come off as one sided. This is where the rebuttal really comes into play. You want to mention the other side and talk about their argument, and you want to acknowledge, like, hey, they have some good points. However, they are still wrong because, and then prove them wrong with your good sources, your strong sources, and evidence. You'd never want to just ignore the other side because it makes your argument look weaker. Okay, so here's some examples of ethos. As a doctor, I'm qualified to tell you that this course of treatment will likely generate the best results. Our expertise in roofing contracting is evidenced not only by our 50 years in the business and our staff of qualified technicians, but in the decades of satisfied customers who have come to expect nothing but the best. Based on the dozens of archaeological expeditions I've made all over the world, I'm confident that those potsherds are of Mesopotamian in origin. So you guys can go through and really add some ethos into your paper. Go through and add maybe sometimes when you've used sources, why I should listen to that source. So go through and add those appeals to logic. If you use an appeal to logic, highlight that whole sentence in purple, kind of like a darker color purple like this, to show me that you have used it so that I know when I'm grading it. Okay, thank you guys.